Everybody, thanks for joining us. My name's Rhoda McRae. I'm a lecturer at the Alzheimer's Scotland Centre for Policy and Practice.
And despite what it says on the screen, I'm not Janet Black. I am Margaret Brown and I'm the Deputy Director of the Alzheimer's Scotland Centre. And I'm only here to support Rhoda and answer questions, so you won't have to put up with me very long.
Thank you, Margaret. Can I have my first slide, please, Lee?
Yes. Here we go.
Lovely. So this is a CPD taster about frailty, and we'll just move quickly on to the second slide. So today we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are, what CPD we can offer you, how we teach and we support learning, and this is going to be an interactive session. So hopefully during the video, and there will be a video played, you'll be off your seats and doing some exercise to get the blood flowing. And the video will last about 15 minutes, and then Margaret and I will be able to take some questions and answers from your chat box at the end. So the next slide, please, Lee. So apologies from Raymond. Raymond works with us at the centre, and it was Raymond Duffy who's prepared the video because Raymond leads our teaching. What we wanted to share with you really was that we're really committed to rights-based care and putting the people that are in receipt of care at the centre of our education. And we really want to build on the skills of our learners as well. So we don't assume that you know nothing. We will tap into the experience and expertise that you have so that we can learn with you. Can you move it along for me, Lee, please? Lovely. And here we all are. So that was a picture taken a couple of years ago. So this is the wider team that help us teach. So we've got Susan Holland, who's an Alzheimer's Scotland nurse consultant. We've got Barbara Sharp from Alzheimer's Scotland. Raymond there, who you'll see in a minute in the video. Margaret and Anna and Louise, we all are lecturers at the centre. And Debbie, who directs it, and Eva, who's our visiting professor. And the next one, please, thank you. So this slide gives you a flavour of the work that we do. And I think it's important to let you know that our education is very much informed by our research and vice versa, and also engaging with practitioners. So we undertake research that's informed by practice and hopefully inform practice through our research and education. So they all leak and feed into each other. And that the pictures there will give you a wee flavour of our work. So the Frailty Matters is an ongoing research project looking at how to support district nurses manage frailty in the community. We've also done quite a lot of CPD, and you'll see that we are the teaching team for the Dementia Champions. Some of you may have heard that. That's a government funded programme that's been running since 2011. And we teach healthcare professionals all over Scotland about dementia. And we've also got a new project that Margaret's been involved in along with Susan, our Alzheimer's Scotland nurse consultant, and that's about supporting carers, and it's a carers academy. So hopefully that gives you a wee flavour of the breadth of work that we do. Can you bring us on to the next slide, please, Lee? And this is what's important to us. So the voices of who we support are heard in our education and our research, and that we encourage our learners to use their head and their hearts and their hands to learn. And that's important so that you can learn in different ways in different times, and hopefully that consolidates your learning experience and gives you a positive learning experience. And we also encourage reflection and drawing on your experience to build your knowledge. And absolutely, it is theoretically informed. So today we would like to give you a sense of what we do and how we do it, And we're going to do that through a video, and Lee's going to play the video, and it's presented by Raymond Duffy, and hopefully you will be joining in, and then we'll come back to picking up some questions that you have after the video is played. It lasts for about 13 minutes.
Hello everyone, my name's Raymond Duffy and I'm an older people's nursing lecturer at the University of the West of Scotland. I also work very closely with the team from the Alzheimer's Scotland Centre for Policy and Practice. Part of my role is that I currently manage the MSc in Gerontology with Dementia Care that the university offers, and you can find out more about that online. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you in person today, but I hope you enjoy this short example of what we do here at UWS. I've chosen to talk about frailty because it lies at the heart of older people's care currently. Frailty care includes many topics that can feature as part of CPD, including nutritional care, dealing with sensory deprivation, mental and physical well-being, social isolation and loneliness, medication regime management, falls, delirium, and of course dementia. As an example of what we can do for the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to look at physical health and frailty. So the title of the talk is Get Fit for Frailty. I'm going to start off first of all just by looking a little bit at what frailty is. So frailty is a distinctive health state related to ageing, where many body systems start to lose the reserve. That's their capacity to deal with trauma or anything that puts you off your normal. People who are frail often have the following features in common. They have unintentional weight loss, reduced muscle strength, reduced gait, self-reported exhaustion, and low energy expenditure. If more than 3 of these are present, that tends to indicate frailty. And obviously, the closer you have to all 5 being present, the more likely you are to have a poor outcome. Right, one of the key features of frailty is a thing called sarcopenia. Now, sarcopenia is a loss of skeletal muscle function, and it's a central feature of physical frailty. It's one of the things that you'd like to try and avoid as you get older, but it's very difficult to avoid sarcopenia unless you're willing to put in the work, and the work tends to be physical exercise, and often physical exercise is going to build up your skeletal muscle when you're younger. So you have to start relatively early to avoid sarcopenia. Which brings you to a very important issue really, which is the amount of activity that you do as you age. Older people tend to become less active. About 47% of those aged between 75 to 84 are deemed inactive. And by inactive, I mean the only things they're doing are things related to looking after themselves or looking after their families and not participating in any active exercise. That number rises to 70% of those over 85. But at 55, over half of all inactive people are already out there in the population. And that puts you at risk of sarcopenia alone. Okay, the fact that you're inactive at age 55 plus. Okay. If you're in that age group, and I'm talking about you, and hopefully I'm not talking about you, and hopefully I'm talking about your patients, then this puts them at risk. Okay, so how much risk are you actually at? Well, this is a short video that I'm going to run, and this short video looks at one aspect of your skeletal muscle function, and you'll find it's a useful little test to decide whether to participate yourself in more activity or not. Okay, so I'll just run the video for the moment. If you want to participate live right now, then you want to stand up, and when you stand up, go beside your chair, and hopefully you're at a chair that doesn't move, and then just follow the instructions in the video.
Recent research has shown that a decline in balance can be an early warning sign of health problems in later life.
Here at Roar, we are committed to connecting people to promote health and well-being, so we have come up with the one-legged wobble challenge to have some fun while making a very serious point. Did you know that the length of time you can balance in one leg can predict health problems in later life? But that by increasing activity, you can make improvements both to your balance and your longer-term health.
Roar has been asking people to try this out and see how they get on. With or without footwear, make sure you're in a safe place. You'll need something to hold on to if you start to wobble. Select which leg you want to try first and place that foot firmly on the floor. Now lift your other leg just off the floor and see how long you can balance on that leg with your eyes open. If you can count to 30 without losing your balance, you've done very, very well. If that went well, now try the same but with your eyes closed. This is much, much harder. How many seconds did you manage? If you reach 10, then a gold star to you. Sometimes we're better in one leg than the other, so now try the same on the other leg. Eyes open first, then closed. If this balance challenge didn't go quite as well as you thought it would, or should, as this may be a good time to do something about it.
Looking after your balance is another important way to help you and the people you care about to stay healthier for longer. The Roar Connections for Life team have taken the challenge, and we want to encourage you to do 3 things. Take a stand and film it for Facebook. Challenge a friend to do the same thing. And visit our website for more details on improving and maintaining your balance.
I couldn't do it. I did it like a drunken sailor.
I knew I couldn't do it. As soon as I closed my eyes,
I know. Was it harder than you thought it was going to be?
Of course, yeah.
So we're going to start doing some balancing exercises.
I might.
This one-legged wobble balance challenge from Roar is a great idea. Balance is not only important to help prevent falls, but also to live independently and move about confidently. We don't always know when our balance is declining, so this challenge is a great way to see when you need to start some balance training. So have a go at the balance challenge. I know I will. I'm supposed to be good at this.
Okay, well, I hope none of you are on the floor at the moment. So, no. And you'll go out and you'll try your balance challenge at a later point during the day. If you're concerned about if you're concerned about your muscle strength and you think you might be at risk of sarcopenia in the future, or if you know people who are at risk of sarcopenia or loss of skeletal muscle at the moment, then you can make use of this acronym, which is called FIT, F-I-T-T. Okay, so FIT's about trying to increase the amount of physical activity you actually do. So rather than give you a set goal or set a target, what it asks you to do is to look at gently building up your exercise. So by gently building up your exercise, I mean very gently, particularly when we're talking about patients. So what we're actually looking at then are trying to improve frequency, intensity, time and type. So when I talk about frequency, I'm talking about the number of times per week you exercise. Okay, you want to try and increase that if you can. So from 2 days a week to 3 days a week, for example. You might want to tackle intensity, how hard you exercise. So if you walk slowly, you might want to try and pick up your pace. If you jog, you might want to try a little bit of running or adding a little bit of running. If that doesn't work, or if that doesn't seem to be working for you, what about trying to tackle time? Why don't you do what you usually do, but just try and do it for a little bit longer? So if you're used to going for walks for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, let's try and increase the amount of time you're walking to maybe 11 or 12. or perhaps the type of exercise. So if you're used to walking, why don't you do something else? Why don't you do chair exercises maybe? Or if you get ambitious, take Tai Chi lessons, and maybe that'll help out with your balance as well as your skeletal muscle issues. So FIT, a really useful acronym, one to remember for your patients. You shouldn't set your patients really high targets and high goals anyway, but you can use FIT to try and gently encourage them to do just a little bit more every week, and that will help preserve some of their muscle function and help them to avoid frailty in the long run. Okay. So as I've said, your target is really to get the person who's at risk of becoming frail or who's frail to be a bit more active. Any increase, no matter how you achieve it, using any of the FIT acronym is fine. Okay, doesn't matter how you do it. Any improvement, no matter how slight, will be beneficial. If you're interested in trying to do something for yourself, and I maybe not recommend this for patients, or particularly if they're frail already, why don't you try a thing called iPrescribe? iPrescribe is a online app that creates a 12-week exercise plan based on health information that you enter. It then sets the duration and intensity for the exercise based on that information, and it's one of the few apps that are approved by the NHS. You can find iPrescribe at the URL given there. Okay. Last thing, if you're really interested in finding out a bit more about interventions for helping people who are frail or pre-frail, then it'd be a good idea to have a look at this recent paper by Kidd, Mould and Jones. Okay, that's my brief example. So I hope you're now all going off to check your balance. I hope you're all going to go off and download the iPrescribe app and see if you can come up with your own plan for utilising the FIT framework. As I said right at the beginning, this is just a short introduction to what we can do. If you want to discuss CPD opportunities further, then contact the team here at UWS, and thank you all for listening.
So hopefully you joined in there, and I had a little go. I had a little practice when we were preparing the video, and I have to say I think my yoga's kicked in. So I did manage the 30 seconds, and I did manage the 10 seconds with my eyes closed. But the eyes closed is really hard.
I try it. I thought if I stand up here, I've got a chair on wheels. I will fall into the screen.
Yeah, it's a really simple test as well. So I hope you managed to give it a go. And if you didn't right here, right now, you'll be able to do it again. But I think it's quite a good challenge for your family and friends to see if you're at risk of sarcopenia. So it's some new words and some new tests, but definitely do it, without any refreshments. So let's take some chat. Okay, has anybody got any questions in the chat box that you would like to ask Margaret or I? We'll just give it a wee minute for those to come through. Can we assess psychological frailty? That's an interesting question. Thank you very much. I'll let Margaret think about answering that one while any others come in.
That's a really good point. I mean, frailty is, although mainly physiological, it has an impact on your psychological, social, of course, your social experiences. We know people who have frailty are more likely to be lonely, have a greater risk of depression. And if you think about that yourself, that lack of ability to perform some of your daily functions and what that would do to your psychological well-being, I think you can see very quickly that you can't ignore the full biopsychosocial approach that we take to frailty. I hope that's helpful. Yes.
Yeah, I think it is, Margaret, and I think also that feeling of really being exhausted a lot of the time will definitely impact on how well you feel, how you feel about yourself. If you're constantly tired, that I think
There's a
that
lot,
would, yeah.
there's a lot of qualitative studies been done fairly recently looking at this, and actually some of the perceptions that people have of who have frailty is around they feel a burden. They feel that they are a weight on their family. They feel helpless, and they often feel invisible and unheard. And that's not a nice place to be either. So there's a huge psychological impact. There is also a strong link now with dementia. When you are not nutritionally well supported, people with frailty are often on many medications. They're much more at risk of delirium. You'll find that cognitive abilities are really impaired, and there is a stronger link now between both of those conditions.
Some questions coming in there. So, any tips for engaging people living with dementia with balancing exercise? I think that's a great question, and I think Raymond's video hints at it. It's about just increasing an element of what they can do bit by bit, whether that's through frequency or intensity or duration. So finding a benchmark for where they are and trying to increase one element of that gently and incrementally. Would you like to add anything to that, Margaret?
As an old nurse, I mean, we always were used to get really annoyed with staff who would take patients to the toilet in wheelchairs. And the encouragement was always, yes, you need to go to the toilet because you need to go now, but you could walk back. And it's looking for the wee opportunities in the day to help people continually move, because we know it's the constant. It's not spending long periods exercising. It's a bit like when you're watching television at night. I know none of you watch it for more than 30 minutes without getting up and doing some stretching. I'm joking. But that's exactly the principle. It's that small, frequent movement because the muscle will respond to that.
Yeah. The wobble test, has it been done locally in Lanarkshire? Not that I'm aware of. I believe that this was a Renfrewshire initiative, but it has been picked up in other pockets of the country. But I'm not aware of it being done. And it is evidence-based. There is some indication to say that this wee test helps you identify how you know your propensity to frailty. So yeah, it's easy and it's simple and fun, I guess, as well.
I think, Corinne, if it's not done in Lanarkshire, you should do it.
Yeah.
This is the chance to start it.
Great. Get in touch. It'd be good to hear how you take it forward.
That would be good. That would be good. I think, and it's good fun. As you've seen, Rhoda loves it. Every time we do this, she's right up there to try it out and see if she's getting better. And there's a bit of competition around it and a bit of let's have a go. And if you can make it light-hearted, it does take away that feeling of you're not able to do anything.
Yeah.
Everybody
and there's nothing worse than feeling that you're being tested as well. And I think when folks are in hospital or in any situation where healthcare professionals and they're they feel they're kind of under the cosh to prove themselves and not fail the test, you know, we can make that's a wee indicator that it could be done in a way that doesn't feel like that so much, I don't think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the wobble test, the Roar video is on YouTube, and if you want to go and have a wee look again and think about incorporating that, always in mind the safety. Just why I didn't do it, because my chair's on a wheel. I didn't fancy going skating across the room. But yeah, go ahead.
Is there a scoring matrix to determine progress, perhaps pre and then post having taken part in strength and balance related exercises over a period of time? Paul, I'm sure there will be, and that's just the kind of detailed content that you would find in our Frailty CPD. What we've tried to do today is give you a wee flavour of what frailty is. Something fun to do and think about and take away with you, almost a wee takeaway. but we haven't really gone into the content of frailty. That this is not really what this session was about. But our teaching modules and our CPD offerings absolutely would, and that's the kind of content that they would cover.
And if you are keen though to try it, remember that all assessments don't have to be matrices. We have two types of assessment. We have normative assessments, which are based against these matrices that other people develop. And then we have ipsative assessments, which with frail people are very useful. And it measures me against me. So if you're recording how much I can do, and then the next time I do it, record again, you've actually got a stronger evidence base for what it's doing for me. So those ipsative assessments where you can see, this is how long I was able to stand, and next time, how long was I able to stand, can often be really useful in daily practice without having to go looking for scoring systems.
Great, thanks Margaret. How are we doing for time, Lee?
We have about 5 minutes left. We've got another wee question that's popped up in the Q&A section, and it is, what are the best exercises to do if exhausted and inactive if I struggle with balance?
Start in your chair. Start with wherever you can do that. If you can do it lying in bed, just the same. You can use tension exercises. People just being able to lift something as they sit will help with the muscles. So just think about everything you do that creates tension will create muscle tone. I get all annoyed with people who keep helping me do things. My husband's a great man for lifting things for me. And I keep saying, don't lift them, because if I lift them, I maintain my muscle tone. So it's about incorporating exercise into really ordinary daily life.
Mm. There's lots of chair exercise videos around as well that you can tap into. Age Scotland have them, there's definitely content, and there's lots of online chair. So you can do chair yoga, chair exercises, all kinds of things. So I guess it's about starting where people are at. So if they're able to sit but not stand, do the chair stuff. Or if they're not got the energy to stand for any length of time, chair exercises are super. And like Margaret says, some of those can be adapted even if somebody's, in bed. And there are lots of really good ones. And I would say, you can Google them, but I know Age Scotland have some on their website. Any relationships between dementia and frailty? The short answer to that is yes.
Yes, there are, indeed. And I think if you think this through, you have people who have all these vulnerabilities, who have got systemic failures. They have cardiac issues, they have movement issues, breathing issues. But that doesn't stop at your neck. If you've got all of these vascular problems, and that also affects the brain. So it's obvious that there would be cognitive difficulties, but the absolute link between dementia and frailty has not been proved. But then we haven't even managed to prove how we get dementia. So I think we have a lot of work to do in that field, but likely to happen more often.
Okay, thank you very, very much for your questions. It was lovely to get questions because we can't see you and we can't hear you. So it's nice to know that you're there, you're still there, and you're asking questions. And yeah, that's great. And keep in touch. You know where to find us, and we'd be really interested to hear how you get on with maybe using that wee roar video, either at home or in your place of work.
Yes, thank you. Very intelligent questions. Clearly people are interested in a whole range of things around frailty. It's a burning topic at the moment and will continue to be post-COVID, because we'll have many more frail people as a result of the COVID pandemic. So if you are interested, then please come along. Raymond is a super duper lecturer who is very, very knowledgeable about frailty. And I'm sure can tell you much more than any of us.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thanks very much.